The spring real estate market is over. So how did it do? Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a C minus. Yeah, I know that doesn't make any sense, but neither did the spring market. This is Southern California. Our spring market begins in January, February. And in February, we had interest rates under 6%. We were getting ready for the busiest spring in years. And then a bomb dropped. I mean, like literally thousands of bombs as the US went to war with Iran. Everything was still fine for about 4 weeks, but as we went into the end of March, the cost of gasoline was up, and so were interest rates, and buyers' feeling about the economy went way down. Homes that agents thought would hit the market and get multiple offers didn't. And that left a lot of agents scratching their head as they brought buyers to see houses they thought were good, but the buyers didn't bite. By April, it was clear that buyers were not rushing to buy houses like we thought they would this spring. The market was officially soft. So what is a soft market anyway? A good way to think about a soft market is understanding that a home is worth a price range, not an exact dollar amount. So if we say a home is worth $1.5 million, it's probably worth between $1,470,000 and $1,530,000. In a soft market, that house might sell on the lower end of its price range, and in a stronger market, they can easily sell at the higher end of the price range. And of course, I'm assuming that the house has a good agent, great marketing, and a well laid out strategy. This spring bought us buyers who were cautious and practical. They weren't easily falling in love with homes up 30 stairs or an awkward floor plan or a small backyard. They didn't want to settle, and they were very price sensitive. They wanted a deal. Price sensitive looks like this. If a house is worth $1.5 million and it's listed for $1.5 million, buyers will show up and agree the house is a good home at a decent price. But they may not make an offer. They might say to their agent, well, let's keep an eye on this one and see what happens. Then, a few weeks later, they revisit that $1.5 million house and decide to write a $1.4 million offer. With some negotiating, you might be able to get them up in price a little bit, and you'll probably be in the low end of your price range if you're lucky. However, if that same house was priced aggressively low, and I'm talking 7 to 10% below $1.5 million, which would be under $1.4, now you have an excited pool of buyers who flocked to the house because it was so well priced. They got involved in a bidding war and ended up paying over $1.5 million for that house. And that seller put himself at the high end of his price range. So let's talk numbers. Here in Glendale, the average sale price for spring was down 3% to $1,775,000. The number of homes sold was actually up 7%, and the average price per square foot was down 2%. Glendale was soft. In the Hollywood Hills, the number of homes sold was down 4%, but the average sold price was up 16% to $3.4 million. Now that all sounds great until you hear that the average price per square foot was down 3%. So how does that happen? Larger homes sold. In the West Hollywood Miracle Mile area, average price was down 2% to $2.5 million, and the average price per square foot was down 1%. In the San Fernando Valley, average price stayed exactly the same at $1,219,000, but the price per square foot dropped 2%. In West Los Angeles, the average price was down 5% to $3.6 million. So what does this mean for the summer market? Well, summers are usually slower than spring as buyers go on vacation and try to get away from life for a few weeks. Days on the market creep up a little bit, and if your strategy is to price it well and have one weekend of open houses before you look at offers, you may want to have 2 weekends of open houses. That said, it sounds like an end to this war in Iran could be on the horizon. And if that has a positive effect on rates, maybe we see a busier summer than normal, but only time will tell. But I will tell you this, if you're thinking about selling your home, make sure your agent has a strategy. Make sure they understand the market and help you put your best foot forward in the presentation and marketing of your home. Preparation and strategy are more important than ever, which means who you work with really matters. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to help.